Hey, I'm Kai, and today we're going to be checking out the Merciless drive by Airis Effects. You're here to see just how disgusting it can sound, so let's get that out the way nice and early. If you're still here, I like you. There's plenty more brutality to come. So the Merciless drive is a pretty interesting pedal. It combines the EQ section of an HM2 with the drive section of a Rat. Now the Rat section can also be blended out to just be a clean boost instead, which is a very interesting way of approaching this. This means that, at least on paper, the Merciless drive should be pretty malleable. You can run it as a transparent boost with no EQ imparting and just, super clean. You can run it as that amp tightening boost that you'd get from something like a Tube Screamer, where you've got the lows cut and the highs boosted a little bit. You can run it as a standard Rat pedal, you can run it as an HM2 boost, you can run it as a Rat with an HM2 boost, you can run it with a 50% blend of a Rat and a clean boost. There are so many different ways that you can use this pedal, and I'm excited to dive into it and see what I can come up with. Quick overview of the rig that I'm using in this video. I've got my Solar A1.6 FBB29 baritone guitar, currently tuned down to drop F sharp with Winspear's 14 to 76 gauge drop set. I'm running into the Amp Roots free plugin, and I can put up a picture of my preset on screen now. This is what my dry tone sounds like. I will say this dry tone may sound quite uninspiring, as to really hear what the Rat's doing in this pedal, you've got to keep the gain on the amp quite low. So let's start with just a transparent clean boost. We've got the blend control all the way to the left, which means that we've got none of the Rat side of the circuit blended in with the signal, and we're only using the left-hand side of the pedal. So you get a very transparent sounding boost with the high and the low knobs at noon. This is because they're both active circuits, so if you turn them down, they're going to cut those frequencies, and if you turn them up, they're going to boost them. We'll sweep through the range of both the high and the low knobs before we set it to those amp tightening settings where we've got the highs up high and the lows down low. So you can hear that the highs make the drive sound super soft in the lower positions, but in the extreme upper positions you get that classic HM2 snarl, that almost cocked wah sort of sound. Now that we've got the highs where we want them, we're going to sweep through the low control and see what this has to offer us. So it does still sound quite tight, even with the low controls all the way up, though it's getting much into that sort of thicker territory than tighter. So we'll bring these back and hear what that's doing. Yeah, that's definitely doing the amp tightening thing. I think it's now time we bring in some of these rat controls. So turning the blend knob clockwise will add in more of that rat circuit to your sound. I think the best way to demonstrate this is to just max it out so we're just hearing the rat. On the rat side of the circuit, we've got two different controls. We've got bite and we've got gain. Gain is going to be pretty familiar to most people. This is just going to be your saturation level. So let's play with this one and see what it does. So while that does sound fantastic, it does get quite noisy, so you would want to use this with a noise gate if you have it on your pedal board. The bite control is going to be a treble circuit. This is different from the actual high control, as the high control is an active circuit and the bite control is a passive circuit. These two do work in tandem with each other though, so it's going to take a lot of messing around before you find the perfect setting for both of them. So let's have a little play and see what we can do. We'll start with the bite all the way down and we'll slowly bring this one up. Now let's play around with this blend control. Since we've got a really nice sounding rat drive and a really good clean boost, let's play around and see where it best fits both of them. think it's definitely hard to dial in, but I'm having quite a lot of fun just playing around with it and seeing if I can avoid that nasally HM2 thing while still getting a good amount of grind to it. Let's now have some more of a play around and just see where we end up. Okay, yeah, I think that's the happiest I've been with this pedal so far. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, drop me a like, drop me a subscribe, all that good stuff goes a long way towards helping the channel out. Before I get into the actual review of this pedal, I ought to mention this video is sponsored as Airis have sent me this one to check out, though no money has changed hands. Of course though, I will be honest and tell you the things that I like and the things that I don't like about this pedal. The first thing I want to mention in the review sort of section is that the form factor may not be for everyone. The two knobs at the bottom are very close to the foot switch, and this is something that sort of worried me when I got it. However, I think if I was particularly worried about it, I would grab some sort of those O-ring washers, put them underneath the knobs, and then they're not going to go anywhere unless I really want them to. This is also just Airis's thing, so I can't really dog on them for that too much. They've got this on the Savage drive as well as on the Brutal Distortion. For the actual sounds of this pedal, I think that this gets extremely gnarly. It is quite a hard pedal to learn. It took me a couple of attempts to get this video down, just because I was struggling to pair it with the right amp and cabinet. The grindy sound of the Rat on full gain, the blend up nice and high, and the highs up enough to get that sort of HM2 EQ may not be for everyone because it's super aggressive, but I did quite like it where I was doing it in this demo. I definitely prefer just using it as a boost though. I think the boost side of this is fantastic. I can maybe see this boost replacing the Earthquaker plumes that I've got on my pedal board as my sort of amp tightening drive. The Earthquaker's good, but it doesn't really tighten up an amp quite like this pedal does. I also really like it with just the tiniest little blend of the Rat side, just to give you some gnarl to it without getting super aggressive. While I enjoy listening back to that HM2 grind sound, it's not something I enjoy playing to all that much because it can get quite fatiguing quite quickly. I will say this only really matters if you're playing it soloed. If you're playing it in the context of a mix or something like that, you really don't notice. Thank you so much for watching. This has been my look at the Airis Merciless drive. Once again, thank you to Airis who sent me this pedal out for review. If you'd like to check out some of my other videos, there'll be a link on screen for you to do so. Other than that, that's everything that I've got for this video, so thank you for watching, and I've been Kai.